Okay, people. What is
Yeah.
happening? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? It's a great day to be great, and hopefully you are feeling good.
Man.
You're living
You
good.
definitely are feeling good. If
You're
you're not
looking
feeling
good.
good, I want you to stand up, look yourself in the mirror, and say, "I'm feeling good right now."
So like take their phone with them if they're watching and say it while they're watching the stream. Like,
If you take your phone. If you're watching the stream in your living room and you don't got a mirror in your living room, open up your phone, go to the camera app, and then put it right in front of your face like this, and then say, "I'm feeling good today." No matter what happened in your day, I'm feeling good today.
okay.
Change the atmosphere. It's the words that hold weight in your life.
Wow.
Change it.
Okay. Gonna get saved today. My salvation.
Amen. Hey, if you know the Lord Savior, anyways.
What's up, people? Welcome in. Hopefully you've had a fantastic day. Do us a huge favor and go ahead and smash that like button for us. Very simple way for you to help this channel grow. We're going to be giving you some start sit advice. We'll be answering week 10 fantasy football questions. We'll go from top to bottom. Keep in mind that super chats do get answered straight away. I'm just putting that in the chat right now.
Yep, super chat does get straight away. So
No,
know that
no
we are gonna be
obligation
going-
at all, of course. But in case you did want something prioritized, that is always an option for you. If you want to skip the line, as Badaki calls it, skip the queue. You know, it's like going to Disneyland and having the Disney Plus pass, the fast pass, and you just walk by everyone else in the line. So, thanks for joining us. It is good to have Kyler Murray back, baby. I'm very excited. Y'all know I'm a Kyler Murray guy. Got him in a lot of dynasty leagues. Have him in our Superflex league, in our home league. So I'm excited to put him into the lineup. It's going to be good. It is going to be great. The first question today is from Patrick Mahomey. He says, "What's good, fam? What do we think of this trade offer? I get Eckler and Waddle. I give Kenneth Walker, Laporta, and Dobbs. I have Kelsey, so I don't need Laporta after this week. So I give Kenneth Walker and Laporta and Dobbs. He gets Eckler and Waddle. I'm a big fan of this deal personally. Some of my concerns about Kenneth Walker coming into the year are starting to come to light. They really are. And there's two ways you could look at it. Well, 2 weeks ago, Kenneth Walker was injured. Last week, they were down the entire game, so they didn't really, utilize Ken Walker the way they wanted to. And maybe that is the case. But at minimum, if you have Ken Walker, you should, at minimum, be concerned. No, right? I think at minimum, there should be some concern. So being able to pivot to an Eckler is something that I like.
Yeah, pivoting to Eckler is fine for me. Like, I like the Eckler side regardless. I think concerning Kenneth Walker, I am more on the side of, I think, two game plans, or one where he was injured, the second game plan where they were down, so they were trying to get anything going as possible, and that was not in the running game specifically because they were down early. But yes, I understand there could be concerns. I think this could be a good bounce back game for Kenneth Walker, but I do, for this trade, ultimately like Eckler and Waddle, especially if you have Travis Kelce.
Patrick Mahomey, what's up, my man? He says, my RBs are Kenneth Walker, Jacobs. Yeah, so we would do this deal. Akshay says, start 2 wide receivers and 1 flex. Olave, Adams, I believe he will come good. Garrett Wilson, Montgomery, Tank Dell. Yeah, let's say this. You got to flex Monty, right? Monty's got to be in your flex spot. At least for me, I would say he's got to be there. So I need to start 2 wide receivers is the way I'm looking at it. I also agree that Adams will come good. But I am a little bit concerned about the matchup versus the Jets. That is concerning. So yeah, this would be Olave. But man, you can't sit Davante Adams. It would be Olave, Davante Adams, and Montgomery for me.
And Monty. I would say this, Akshay. Both of those guys are playing on Sunday night. I think Sauce is gonna be traveling with him, and I don't see a point where they're just gonna pepper Davante Adams to where he gets. Like they're gonna pepper him, but I don't think he's gonna get to the point where he gets close to the double-digit points, unless like he has one of those big bomb catches that maybe Sauce couldn't stop. So it's hard to sit Davante Adams over Garrett Wilson. But I that's exactly what I'll be doing. I'm starting Garrett Wilson over Davante Adams this week.
Okay.
So it would be Olave, Garrett Wilson, and Monty. And look, Garrett Wilson has that safe floor, in my opinion, with versus Devontae Adams.
I hear
Right?
it.
Only one game or 2 games under 10 points. Devontae Adams has had multiple games under 10 points so
Yeah.
far this year. So
I hear you,
keep that in
and
mind.
it makes sense. We did just get a super chat from Philip, so he's gonna skip the queue there. Let's get to him straight away. Thank you for your donation, man. He says, "What do y'all think of this trade offer? I get Addison and Devonta for Chase. I also got CD and JJ, Deontay, and Marquise Brown. With the amount of wide receivers you already have, I would be keeping Chase here. It's less about quantity and more about like, at this point of the year. I'll just say in general, guys, for anyone watching, maybe this is helpful. At this point of the year, it is less about quantity and more about what is my best starting roster going to look like. And
Yeah.
at any scenario, giving up Chase is going to hurt your starting roster. He's going to be injured, right? Expect less from him in the next couple weeks, but in the fantasy playoffs, he should be healthy and he'll be a top 5 wide receiver every week in rankings. Who knows what happens in the game, but so it would be Chase for me. I would prefer here.
Yeah, it would be Chase for me as well. I mean, you have Chase, CD, and Justin Jefferson with Deontay Johnson coming back and performing, with Kyler Murray coming back with Hollywood. I think that's exactly where I'll be going there as well. So thank you so much for the super chat there, Philip. We are continuing with the super chats here with Brian. Thank you so much. He said best of the rest of the year. So rest of the season, essentially. Who's the best? London, Tank Dell, Hollywood Brown, Jason, and Rice.
Clear name stands out for me there, and I know you probably agree. Hollywood Brown, right?
100%. Hollywood Brown with Kyler Murray coming
We're
back.
big fans of Hollywood Brown. Been telling people to buy him throughout the Dynasty Channel all offseason, and we've been waiting for this moment. We've been waiting for Kyler Murray to come back. Last year, Kyler Murray helped Marquise Brown become a top 6 wide receiver before Hollywood got injured. Now, I don't expect that straight away, but I do expect him to get back into that zone where Hollywood's getting 10 targets a game in the next couple weeks. I'm not going to say right away. Yeah. Maybe it does because they've had a lot of practice and they've got that chemistry from college, but Hollywood Brown will be the clear one for me here.
Yeah, completely agree. Yeah, Hollywood Brown. Thank you so much for the super chat there, Brian. Tank Tone.
Thank you for the donations, guys. You're awesome.
Yeah. Once again, we're going in order with the donations, and we're going back to the top. Tank Tone, 10-team full PPR. He looks like he's showing his team. Do I trade Olave, Laporta, Hunt for Diggs?
So who's his other tight ends there? Schultz.
Schultz, Olave. Who's his other wide receiver? So CeeDee Lamb, Olave. I'm assuming this is his lineup.
Yeah, so
and then Hunt.
Just to be clear, at wide receiver we have CD, Olave, DK, Jason Puka,
Davis.
At tight end, if we lose Laporta, it's Schultz. From what I understand, it looks like it's Schultz that we're relying on.
I don't love that.
Which I don't love either. He has been much better, and I feel comfortable with him. I just don't like the idea of losing a Laporta. That's a tough one, man.
If I can keep Laporta and send Olave and
do Olave Schultz Hunt, that would be my counter. Olave Schultz Hunt for Diggs.
I would say this. I'm happy to pivot off of someone like a DK. So
that's a fine idea as well.
Why don't you? But maybe it may look like a lot.
Let's be honest. Most people are aware of DK's season now, right? Most people are like, "Oof, I don't know if I can rely on that."
I get it.
You got to give something up for Diggs.
What if you swapped? What if you swapped it though? What if you keep Olave, you send DK and Kyren?
I don't know if that gets done, but you could try it. What I would say is, in the ideal world, that's Olave, that is Schultz, and then Kareem Hunt, or I would even do Kyren if that puts it over. Because again, we're trying to make the best team possible. By the way, in a 10-team league, Laporta should be even more valuable than a 12-man. In a 10-team league, Laporta's value goes through the roof. I just do not want to lose Laporta in a 10-teamer. I mean, those onesie positions can make worlds of a difference in a 10-team. Everyone has good teams. It's the teams that have elite quarterbacks and tight ends that end up winning the championships in those kind of formats. So there's some ideas, Tank Tone. I hope that helps, man. Thank you for your donation. The next donation is from Crisscross Applesauce. Sit applesauce and eat some crisscross applesauce. Would you trade for Ken Walker? He wants Kirk, Olave, or Evans. Full PPR have Chase and Allen. So
I think the bigger question is who are your running backs. Because if you do need a running back, I'm happy to do this trade.
My response would be absolutely. If you're telling me that I can send just Christian Kirk and get Ken Walker, that would signal to me Ken Walker's a buy low. So yeah, I mean, I would absolutely send Christian Kirk for Ken Walker if that's the option there.
Yeah, I agree, and I still want Kenneth Walker. I think there was 2 back-to-back games that I think are just outliers in my opinion. Even though Zach Charbonnet has gotten the usage, once again, Kenneth Walker was injured, dealing with that. I think from that calf injury, and in the second game, it was a blowout. So they weren't going to run. You know what happens normally? You abandon the run game. So coming into a better week, playing against Washington Commanders, he has Washington, the Rams, San Francisco. It's tougher matchups without a doubt. But I still believe in Kenneth Walker there. So
yeah,
hopefully that helps.
You know, earlier I talked about how I would be looking to pivot off Ken Walker, but if this is his price, maybe I'd be looking to buy him. So it depends on what offers are out there. Joe, what's up, my man? Thank you for the donation. He says, I got a trade offer, Marquise Brown for Waddle. That is difficult.
Hollywood for Waddle. Look, this is interesting because Waddle hasn't been this like.
Waddle's not been consistent for sure, and the injury is concerning.
Yeah, the injury is concerning, but he hasn't been like this crazy fantasy factory that we were hoping that he would be, or not fantasy. I'm not expecting 20+ points from Waddle, but I was expecting that average to be consistent. That's not the case here, where Hollywood Brown has had an average every single time with Josh Dobbs, and in reality, it should be better with Hollywood Brown, or excuse me, with Kyler Murray. I think that you can potentially get more if you are sending away Waddle. That's what I think.
Believe you could. There's just not been enough consistency. But here's what I'll say. Here's what I will say. I would be willing to make this move. I would rather roster rest of the year Hollywood over Waddle. And maybe that's too bold. Maybe that's too out there. But we saw how good Hollywood was with Kyler Murray last year. There's no DeAndre Hopkins on this team. I'm not expecting top 6. But if you said who has a higher chance to finish top 15 and be consistent, I think that would be Hollywood. So I'll go Hollywood there, but it's close. And I do think there's a scenario, like Badaki was mentioning, maybe you could turn this into 2 for 2, right? So instead of just a straight swap, can you slightly upgrade at running back? Can you slightly upgrade at quarterback or tight end? That's what would be my counter to see if I could get there. But overall, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I am okay with it.
By the way, guys, we currently have over 70 people watching the stream. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We appreciate y'all. Do us a massive favor and hit that like button for us. It's a very simple way for you to help this channel grow, as my dog is going crazy downstairs.
About the Bean.
It's Bean. He's going crazy. I wonder if anyone else is home. But do us a favor, hit that like button, and we're going to answer questions from top to bottom unless there's a super chat. Chris Cross.
Another one. Running backs now.
I think it's context for that previous question.
Yeah,
his running backs right now are Breece Hall, Kyren Williams, Herbert, and Warren. So yeah, I think getting Ken Walker makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I completely agree. Well, thank you so much for all the super chat, guys. We appreciate you. Once again, if you want to skip that line, the queue, all you have to do is drop a super chat. No pressure. We are going in order. Back to the top here. Akshay, start 1 running back, 2 wide receivers, 1 flex. Pollard, Bijan, Pittman, Garrett, Wilson, Thielen. All right, let's start at the running back position. You start. I mean, I think it's just based off matchup when it comes.
Both of them have great matchups. Bijan goes up against the Cardinals. They give up the 3rd most points to running backs. Pollard goes up against the Giants. They give up the 6th most points to running backs. I would say
Tony
both of
Pollard.
these guys have. This is just my personal opinion, but I'm projecting both of these guys to have bounce back weeks. I think they'll both have easily over 10 points. I'm thinking somewhere in the 15 to 17 PPR point range. So both are great options. I'll lean Bijan there, but I also want to get Pollard, I think, in my flex if that's an option. So yeah, I'll go Bijan, I'll go Thielen, and I'll go Pollard, I believe.
Okay. I'm gonna go Tony Pollard. I think he will have a good bounce, a big game here against the Giants. They're playing at home. We're doing bad.
You guys have
There should be up.
literally no offense.
With literally exactly literally no offense. So Tony Pollard's gonna get a lot of opportunity. I would say this: there are arguments for someone like an Adam Thielen coming into this week over someone like a Bijan Robinson. Playing against the Bears, who currently do give up a lot of points to the wide receiver position, and also as well as Michael Pittman going against the New England Patriots there, who currently give up the 7th most points to the wide receiver position. So that's exactly where I'll be leaning, which sounds crazy. So give me Tony Pollard, Michael Pittman, and Alan Thielen. I get it. You're starting Bijan Robinson, but all these other guys have been, at least the wide receivers have been a lot more consistent than Bijan. And I'm projecting Tony Pollard to have a good game this week. So hopefully that helps. Corey,
yeah, my answer in summation was Bijan, Pollard, Thielen. Yours?
Yeah.
Same? Or different?
Pollard, Thielen, Pittman.
Okay, so you're sitting Bijan.
Yeah.
Understood. Corey says start one, Drake, McLaurin, or Dell. I don't feel comfortable starting Drake. I don't really know what his injury status is with that groin injury, but just not really having the confidence in him. I think it would be Terry for me, even though Dell had a great week last week.
It would be Terry for me as well to start here. So that's good. Actually, I traded Devonta Smith and Flowers away for Devontae Adams. I already have Wilson and Olave. My 3 backs, okay. My 3 backs are Monty, JT, and Brees, so I want the upside play in Adams. Is it justified? I think I said this last time. I think we might have disagreed on this. I would have rather kept Devonta Smith and Flowers. You guys know me coming into this year. I said there's be a lot of inconsistencies with Devontae Adams. They have been a lot of inconsistencies with the other 2 guys as well. I just like their quarterback play significantly better right now, long term. And I liked it before Jimmy G as well. So I would rather have Devontae Adams and Flowers. But I can understand how Devontae Adams has one of the highest upside out of these guys, because any given week he can score that 30+ point game and say this is why we have Devontae Adams on our team. Yeah. But at this very moment, I can't justify it personally with Devonta Smith and Zay Flowers.
I don't really have a strong opinion on it. I overall in a vacuum, I'm gonna say Adams. I think Smith is going to be better now with Goddard out, though, so that is definitely intriguing. But I'm not out on Zay Flowers. I just don't think I don't know how we have any confidence in him after a 1-target game. That's concerning that is his floor. So I'll go Adams because I think Aiden O'Connell actually played well. Chad says lost by 7 because Brees didn't get more than 16 points. I'm 6-3. Should I trade Chase for Diggs? Should I hold on and get another piece? Honestly, dude, to me, Chase and Diggs,
same thing to me.
Personally, it's like trading a red apple for a green apple. It's like, which do you prefer? Because they're both gonna be delicious snacks, and they're both gonna be rewarding to your health. So, either way, I'm fine with either.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Maybe you lean Diggs because he's not injured. I don't know.
Maybe you lean Diggs because he's the only target on that team, essentially, where Chase has T, right? Mm-hmm. Like, they have a better running game, essentially. I don't know.
Yeah.
But for me, I think they kind of cancel each other out, in my opinion there, Chad. Tay, need to pick up a tight end because Kelsey is on a bye. Who do I drop between Hunt, Downs, Dobbs, and Pickens? For me, this would be Dobbs. Don't want to drop him, but if I had to, it would be him.
Yeah, I think there's a very little chance that Romeo Dobbs becomes a league winner. So I'm fine with that. Of course, we don't prefer to drop him, but I'm fine with it. Elijah McSweeney, what is up, man? Pick 2, Demario Douglas, JSN, Jahan Dotson. I'm putting Jahan Dotson in my lineup this week. And then between JSN and Demario Douglas, it is interesting. But JSN, my guy, my beloved JSN, is starting to demand targets.
That's
and
right.
I am loving that we get to see that. And I don't think it's going to get worse from here on out. It's a great matchup versus the Commanders. They are one of the top 5 matchups for wide receivers. So I'll go JSN here.
I will go JSN here as well. I would say you should keep in mind that this could be a big Ukadukes.
Could be.
To where, like, this is a big matchup for JSN because Washington gives up a lot of points. But we've seen how these big, tough wide receivers like a DK Metcalf can, or I guess like AJ Brown, not comparing DK Metcalf and AJ Brown, but like how
Physically,
Washington,
it makes
yeah,
sense.
exactly. The physically make like the physicality that he brings, the same way that AJ Brown brought against Washington. That's what DK can bring in this matchup because of how weak Washington's secondary is, to where maybe JSN is not necessarily utilized the way we hope for. But I still will be going JSN with you though. Eric, what's up, fellas? I have Lamb, wide receiver 1, and Laporta, tight end. I need 2 more wide receivers and 1 flex. Higgins, Pittman, Evans, really Kincaid. So 2 more wide receivers and a flex.
We're definitely throwing Higgins in, right? I mean,
yeah, 100%. It has to be Higgins.
With the Jamar Chase injury, Higgins has got to be in lineups.
It actually might be the top 3 wide receivers: Higgins, Pittman, and Evans.
I was trying to find where Higgins was ranked for me this week, and I didn't realize I had him this high. But he's my wide receiver 8, so I'm pretty high on him this week. So you said the first 3?
Yeah, Higgins, Pittman, Evans. All these guys have decent matchups here.
I'm with you
against
there.
the wide receiver position. Patriots give a lot of points, and excuse me, the Titans have been up there in giving up points. They still give a lot of points. They give the 8th, but they have been in the top 4 earlier in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll go those guys.
We did just receive a super chat, so let's go ahead and prioritize that question there from Miles. Miles, thank you for your donation, man. Very, very kind. He says, traded JJ and Hollywood for Tyreek and Dotson. You know, Justin Jefferson right now, I think this is a great pivot move from Justin Jefferson. Tyreek there's probably only one other player in fantasy I want over Tyreek, and that's Christian McCaffrey. Other than that, I think Tyreek is the second most valuable asset in fantasy. With Justin Jefferson coming back, without Kirk Cousins, it will be not as good. It just won't be as good, even though Josh Dobbs is playing well. And now you have to ask, because I was listening to the footballers this morning, and who was it? Jason made a very good point. He was talking about the Vikings schedule. You know, when they put Justin Jefferson on IR, they said it would be 4 to 6 weeks. Now, 4 weeks would be returning now versus New Orleans. But if it extends to 6 weeks, that's Denver. And there's a bye week in week 13. So while it's unlikely, I think he does come back probably next week or so. While it's unlikely, there is a chance that Justin Jefferson is out all the way until week 14. And then you have to ask yourself, do I trust him? Which you start him regardless, but it's like there's not that confidence level without seeing him with Josh Dobbs for so long. So anyway, being able to pivot, I think this is a great pivot. I like Hollywood for sure, but Dotson is playing well, and I just like the idea of getting the best player in this deal. So
yeah, I agree. I'll second that with you there. Thank you for the super chat.
Yeah, thank you very much. We're going back to the top, answering questions from top to bottom, unless it's a super chat. Thanks for the donations, guys. Irvin, start one. Higgins, Hollywood, McLaurin. This would be Higgins for me.
Agreed.
Mr. Green says, hey guys, I'm 7-2. Love that. Full PPR, I'm trading Pittman, Ford, and Gus for Achane and Debo. I'm trying to upgrade my bench. Good move. Yes, I like this move. I really love any move at this point of the year where you're sending 2 for 1, 3 for 2. You know, those deals where you kind of consolidate your roster and just get the better players. Of course, injuries can happen, but I love deals where you're getting the best possible starting roster heading into the playoffs.
Yeah, completely agree.
We did just get a super chat from P. Diddy Papa Diddy Puff. So we'll get to that question straight away. Thank you for your donation.
Huh?
He says, would you trade Stroud for Bryce Young, 2024 top 5 pick and a 25 first? It's a 2 quarterback. This has got to be a dynasty question, right? It's 2 quarterback full PPR. Also, do you guys trust playing George Pickens anymore? Let's start with the first question he had there. Would you guys trade Stroud for Bryce Young, a top 5 pick in 2024, and a 2025 first round pick?
Top 5 is very intriguing.
Yes, I agree.
And I am not out on Bryce Young, even though Stroud
neither
has been phenomenal. I think with that top 5, and you're telling me that is an absolute guarantee, I'm happy to take that top 5 pick. That can be another quarterback. That can be another wide. That could be Marvin Harrison, Caleb Williams, Drake May, Malik Neighbors. The list can go on. Brock Bowers. I mean, that is your top 5 that can change your league, right? Or your team right there. Still with Bryce Young, who once again, I think we're not giving up on.
It was unquestionably a terrible game last week, but what we always say in Dynasty, and this is tough because Dynasty players, they want the instant satisfaction of knowing that they hit on their pick. We said this, Badaki, we didn't have as big of a channel at that time, but we said this about Trevor Lawrence in his rookie year. Do not judge him off of purely his rookie year. Trevor Lawrence had no one to throw the ball to. He had a terrible offensive line, and he had terrible coaching. It's kind of what we're looking at right now with Bryce Young, except Adam Thielen looks actually pretty good for how old he is.
What's really bad, specifically this week, sorry to interrupt, is that CJ had his best game this week.
Sure.
And Bryce Young had his worst game.
Yeah.
And people are saying, well, look at the comparison for 1 and 2 just by this week. That is not the way you go about evaluating your starting quarterback here.
Clearly,
by 1 game.
We all prefer Stroud in Dynasty, and it's not close. But you have a lot of insulation there where you get these other valuable assets in return. The only way I'm not taking that is if I'm trying to compete right now and win. If I'm rebuilding, I think that helps you in multiple different ways. It means your own picks are probably going to be more valuable because you'll have less points for. And you'll have, ultimately a better roster altogether. So think about what Carolina could do in this offseason. What wide receivers could they sign? How could they improve their offensive line? Will there be a coaching change? So there's a lot of ways that Bryce Young could get better. So I like that move if you're not competing. And as far as George Pickens, it's going to be based off matchup, I think, from here on out. But clearly he's not the number 1 option on his team. So I would say on a weekly basis, there are definitely 24 guys you'd rather start at this point, right? And just thinking a 12-man league,
over George.
He's not a wide receiver too, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. It's tough. And this matchup here against the Packers, is technically not the best. They currently give up, I think, top 10 least amount of points to the wide receiver position. So it's not the best matchup for him as well. So hopefully, hey, P. Diddy, Papa Diddy Puff, we appreciate you for that super chat. Thank you so much. Going to the next one, Ralph. Trade Kyron and Dell for Josh Jacobs. Thought. So he traded Kyron and Dell for Josh Jacobs. I'm okay with getting the Josh Jacobs side, top 4 running back right now. I think Kyron's going to pop off. When he does come back, not pop off. I think he's going to still be decent. But I think one of the biggest things with me was that Kyron, Cooper Kupp, and Puka Nacua is going to take some opportunities away from him a little bit.
I think we've seen enough from Darrell Henderson and Royce Freeman to say, yeah, Kyron's job is safe.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. But I'd rather have Josh Jacobs here. Kind of like Zach was saying, these 2-for-1 deals to get an absolute guarantee. You want that.
I like that as well, assuming it's not some huge starting lineup league. He says, and I need a quarterback since Hurts is in a bye, thinking about Dobbs or Howell or Mayfield. I like Dobbs this week a lot, but it would be Howell for me. What about you?
Agreed. It would be Howell for me as well.
Awesome. Thank you for your donation, man. We got another donation from Trey Broadstone. Do we see a question from Trey, though?
I'm looking down at it.
Does he have
this
a
Henry
question?
guy is talking a lot.
I think he's just chatting to people in the chat. I love that the chat is active.
Trey, let us know if you put your question in, brother. You don't have to do another super chat. Just drop it down below. we can probably get to that. But once that's down, once he does that, then we'll go back to him. But we can go to the next one here. It says Raiders Nation. Thank you so much for the super chat. He says Packers, Lions, Bengals. Who should I pick up for playoffs? I'm actually going to be doing a little series of playoff players that you should be trading for or picking up here soon, Raiders Nation. So definitely stay tuned throughout the week. I think I'm going to start doing that now, get ahead of it, compared to the rest of the community. You know, trying to get them clicks, baby. Nah, but look, off the top of my head right now, for the playoffs, I probably wouldn't be able to tell you who to pick. I think we would both agree that probably the Lions is the best defense out of all these guys.
Yeah, I'm just looking at their schedules now. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you and say I've looked at this in depth. So give me a quick second. The Lions get Denver, Minnesota, Dallas. So definitely that first couple matchups are intriguing for the Lions. They have the best overall defense. Green Bay gets Tampa Bay, Carolina, Minnesota. So Green Bay probably has the best second week of the playoffs matchup. And the Raiders, I don't want the Raiders. They play the Chargers and the Chiefs. So I'm going to say Lions. I think they're the best team. They have the best matchup to start the playoffs as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I would, once again, don't have all the information, but stay tuned for, players you should trade for, running backs, wide receivers that you should trade for the playoffs before that comes around, especially defenses and kickers if you do have that. Thank you so much for the super chat. The next super chat here is Jax. He said Aaron Jones, Adam Thielen for Rachaad White and Amari Cooper. Which side?
Yeah, I mean, I said this last week. The coaching staff said they were going to let loose Aaron Jones, and they did that. I was starting him in my leagues, and I think this is what we should expect. Somewhere between 17 to 20 touches every week for him, and he's going to return fantasy value if that's the case. I'll take the Aaron Jones and Adam Thielen side here.
Yeah.
And by the way, Amari Cooper's day looks a lot differently if Deshaun Watson doesn't somehow throw the ball off a defender's helmet and it lands into Amari Cooper's hand. That should have been an interception, is what I'm saying. That touchdown probably shouldn't have happened. But
I mean, if the touchdown doesn't happen, he still gets the targets though. Like
he had 5 targets last week, right?
But he had 130. He had 139 yards. Yeah.
Right, but you're not going to get 139 yards on 5 targets 9 times.
Absolutely not.
Look, I'm not anti Amari Cooper. I'm just pro Aaron Jones and Adam Thielen. So.
Yeah. And I'm just questioning Aaron Jones personally. I am going to go Aaron Jones and Adam Thielen because I still rather have him over Rachaad White. But I need to see it one more time. One more time.
Okay.
And maybe that's my.
That could be your downfall there.
My downfall.
Double L $4.99. I don't know why I said the donation amount. Just thank you for the donation. Very kind.
$4.99.
Some streamers are like, double L with a $5. Anyway. What's good, fam? Good to be back. 12-team Superflex PPR. Start 10. Send Dobbs and Puka for Chase. Have Cup and other quarterbacks. So it's a 12-team Superflex PPR. Send Dobbs and Puka for Chase. I actually love that deal if Josh Dobbs is not someone you're relying on, and it sounds like he's not. So yeah, I love that deal. Again, trying to get those 2-for-1s, the 3-for-2 deals where you really get your best starting lineups.
Completely agree. Love it. Miguel was our next super chatter. He said, "What's up, guys? Kelsey on a bye, and my better options on the waiver wire are Taysom Hill, McBride, and Jonnu Smith. Not sure who to pick up."
Yeah.
For me, I think you ride the hot hand here potentially, but there are some good options here. I'm still gonna ride the hot hand and Taysom.
I think so too. I mean, like recently it's not been like, okay, let's give him a couple carries. Recently he's been pretty integral to their offense.
Mm-hmm.
And he gets the high value touches on the goal line, so it'll be Taysom Hill for me too.
It would be Taysom Hill for me. Thank you so much, Miguel, for the super chat. Going back to Trey at the top, I know he did drop his super chat.
Trey did drop a super chat. Here's his question. I'm glad we're able to do that, Trey.
Is it week 10, right? Week 10 PPR. Start Stroud or Kyler? Let's start there. Stroud or Kyler Murray?
So here's what I'll say. I am absolutely ecstatic to have Kyler Murray back into my lineups. However, CJ Stroud faces the Bengals. I'm just thinking about their need to throw the ball. I know Joe Burrow and this offense is going to be able to score on the Houston Texans. So I'm thinking more of like, who has a better chance at garbage time fantasy points? I would say that CJ Stroud. So yeah.
Kyler Murray, specifically this week, just because of the matchup. And then the second part of the question says, flex one, McBride, Keaton Mitchell, or I'm assuming that's Jameson, or that can be Jamal Williams.
Either way, it's not ideal, is it?
Either way, it's not ideal. Yeah, it'll be McBride for me as well, hopefully with that high upside with Kyler Murray. Thank you so much for that super chat, though. Everyone.
Yeah, you guys have all been awesome.
We appreciate you guys.
For the donations. We're going to get back up to the top. Keep in mind, guys, we're going top to bottom. Super chats do get prioritized, so no obligation, but just know that that's an option if you want to skip the queue. And go ahead and do us a favor. Hit that like button. We're currently at 53 likes. You guys are awesome. Let's get to 75. We're about 22 likes away from 75. So do us a favor and help support the stream there. The next question is from Ham. Had a great week 9. Hope you did too. Would you start Mixon or James Conner at the flex? As my wide receiver 2, would you have Ridley or JSN? So let's start at the first one, Mixon or Conner. I am very excited about James Conner coming back. He's a great buy low right now, but I'm going to rock with Mixon against Houston. Agreed. It's a great matchup, and that offense is clicking. The other options, Ridley or JSN, I'll go Calvin Ridley here. It's a good matchup for Calvin Ridley versus the 49ers. Their secondary has been suspect this year, and we just saw him get 10 targets, so it'd be Calvin Ridley for me.
Completely agree. James Conner, Calvin Ridley. Ham, second question. Also, do we think McBride...
You said James Conner there.
Sorry, Joe Mixon and Calvin Ridley, excuse me. He said, also, do we think McBride or Taysom Hill would be the better option, other matchups next week? I think we kind of spoke about it. Taysom Hill, we would go with this week.
But so McBride is right behind him in my rankings, so it's close.
Yeah, it's definitely close. It's not something that I think you go with the hot hand right now, and that's Taysom Hill. Yeah. And we hope that McBride has a good game with Kyler Murray off the bat, so we feel comfortable starting him moving forward. Bike Walker, yo, what's up? Full PPR need 3. Ayuk, Higgins, Aaron Jones, Devontae Adams. Great work, guys. Appreciate it. It'll be Ayuk, Higgins, and this is my toughest part. These are two people that I need to see a little bit more consistency with, coming off of their inconsistencies, unfortunately. And I'm going to go with the touches with Aaron Jones rather than the targets with Devontae Adams.
No, I agree. That would be my answer as well. Ayuk, Higgins, Aaron Jones. So I'm with you there. Don't be afraid to start Ayuk this week, guys.
Yeah.
Sergio says, "How is it going, gentlemen? Good. I have Hurts on bye. Should I play Dobbs or Howe? We'll go Howe there."
Yeah, agreed.
Brandon says, "Pollard or Barkley rest of the year."
That's also tough.
That is tough because Barkley is clearly the more talented player, but it's difficult to see that offense doing much of anything.
And this is what I would say. Sorry, continue.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, Barkley is probably going to struggle for the next couple weeks. I think when Tyrod Taylor does come back, it gets better for them and for Barkley because they will be able to move the ball a little bit more. But I do see Barkley having, 25 touches probably per game going into the rest of the season, outside of the Eagles game and outside of those 2 Eagles games and outside the Cowboys games. Every other game, I envision that for him. I still rather have Barkley, but I think that upside without DJ being there and without these rookie quarterbacks or these question mark quarterbacks, his upside is very limited now, unfortunately.
How I would approach it is I think the general consensus would be Saquon over Pollard rest of the year. I would say if you polled all of fantasy players, I would say 85% of people would vote for Saquon. So I think there's an opportunity to do a 2 for 2 here in which you can upgrade at a different position. So if you can upgrade at tight end or quarterback and make this swap, then I would be willing to do the deal. Kyler Murray or Justin Herbert. This week we got Justin Herbert against the Lions. It's a good defense, but it should be a game they need to score points in. So I'm going Justin Herbert there.
Yeah. By the way, I don't know. the Brandon one. He also had a second part, Devontae Adams or Devonta Smith rest of the season.
Okay, my bad.
I will go Devonta Smith personally.
It would be Adams for me.
Okay, just wanted to make sure we answered that.
Yeah.
Mike Walker, any news on Justin Jefferson? Is he still relevant with Dobbs at quarterback? I think we kind of spoke about it a little bit earlier. I know Zach did.
Yeah.
So we don't want to spend too much on that.
I mean, we did talk about it in depth earlier, so hopefully you're with us, and maybe this is just an older question. Thoughts on Kupp rest of the year? You know, everything with Kupp and, you know, Carson Wentz was just signed, so it won't be as bad as what it was last week if Matthew Stafford is out. Like, I think you can start Cooper Kupp and Puka if Carson Wentz is back there. He's not going to make them both top 12, but they'll be top 30, you know? But the indications from all the things that I've read is that Matthew Stafford should play after their bye week. So if that's the case, maybe Kupp is a buy low for people out there who have good records. Because people who are struggling and they need to make the playoffs would be willing to sell him.
My concern is that if you're pretty confident in Matthew Stafford coming back, why are you signing?
Can I tell you exactly why? Because you never want to be in a scenario where you start Brett Rippon again in your life.
Well, they waived him the day after. Gosh, yeah. That's so sad. Hey, Brett, thank you so much, but you're no longer part of this team.
Yeah,
but
probably shouldn't have been in the first place.
He still would have had a job if Matthew Stafford didn't get hurt. That's how shit it is. That's terrible. If you think about it, he lost his job because somebody else got hurt. He also
played very poorly, like potentially the worst quarterback play we've seen this year. Mr. Green says, hey guys, just want to throw a shout out to what you guys do, answering all these questions day in, day out. A lot of these other channels answer questions, but not like you guys do. Oh, well, I appreciate that, Mr. Green.
We appreciate you, Mr. Green. Thank you so much.
RV says, for my flex, K. Dotton, Warren, or Jaden Reed. This would be Warren for me.
Yeah, agreed.
I don't think Otton. I just need like a couple more games before I can call him like a consistent player. I still think Evans and Godwin would be the priority in that offense.
Yeah, and Warren's pretty picking it up.
Yeah,
they're both picking it up. I think they're finding their stride over there in Pittsburgh. Patrick, full PPR, one flex, DK, Ridley, James Cook, Connor. I think if James Conner plays, I'm confident starting James Conner over Calvin Ridley.
I think this is Ridley for me because I don't see a scenario in which Ridley isn't necessary versus the 49ers. The 49ers are going to come out hot. I have this feeling. The 49ers are going to come out
100%
hot. And
two back-to-back losses
is going to be necessary for that win. So it would be Ridley for me. And Metcalf has the best matchup, but there's genuinely not been a week that you've been happy with DK Metcalf outside of week 3. Every other week you would be disappointed with his performance. So,
yeah. Look, I think it's close between all these guys.
Yeah.
I would say if James Conner does come back, I'm really excited to start him because I don't think Kyler Murray is going to be. I don't think Kyler Murray is going to be mobile. At least he probably will be, but I think he's going to be a little bit more skeptical on trying to run the way he has in the past. Donald said Deontay Johnson or Chris Godwin the rest of the season. For me, this would be Deontay.
Yeah, Deontay as well. Sean says Dynasty 10 team, one quarterback, Dotson, and a second for Devontae or D-Hop, trying to win now, and I want steady producing wide receivers. If you're trying to win now, it would be Devontae, but I don't know that. Definitely D-Hop's not going to give you consistency.
That's my thing. Like the key word said you want a steady producing wide receiver to help you make a run. Go look at those guys' games and tell me if they're steady producing wide receivers. Yeah. I don't think you can. Not even Dotson. If I'm doing that for a second, I'm looking for somebody else. I mean, can you send the second for Hollywood? I think he has a higher steady producing.
Yeah, no, Hollywood would be ideal. I just think he's going to cost more, but that would be ideal. I mean, even the likes of like a Deontay Johnson, but that would be an overpay. Dotson and a second for Deontay would be an overpay.
That would be an overpay. I 100% agree. I think if you're competing and you want to go win now, maybe you're happy to send the second for Deontay. You keep
What
Jahan
about like a
Dotson.
Michael Pittman? I would do it for Michael Pittman.
Yeah, that works. I don't think you can get Michael Pittman for less than a first though. Even
Well,
though,
Dotson in a second should be equivalent.
yeah, I don't think those two guys are the names I would be wanting to trade for, specifically for
You don't-
steady production, like you said.
You wouldn't want to trade for Dotson right now in Dynasty?
No, I would. I would.
Oh,
I'm not
okay.
saying I wouldn't. I'm saying like because he's trading away Dotson in the second for somebody that has
I
steady
hear you.
production.
I hear what you're saying.
That
there.
yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, Devontae doesn't exactly have an incredible rest of season schedule either. Yeah, that's tough. Patrick. No, my name's Patrick. Need a kicker. Butker on bye and want to hold him. Pick up Dicker. What does Cameron do?
Dicker.
So let's pick up Dicker there. Yeah. Let's pick up the old Dicker.
I mean, if Young Ho Koo's available though, you gotta pick up
Yeah,
Young Ho
I mean, to
Koo.
be honest, but who does Atlanta play? I'm trying to remember. Minnesota, right? So
I
it's in
think
a
so,
dome
yeah.
regardless. Wait, Atlanta just played Minnesota. My bad. Who do they play this week?
Oh, Atlanta plays the Cardinals at the Cardinals, so it's still regardless.
Let's do Young Ho. Yeah.
Give me Young Ho Koo.
Young
brother.
Ho.
He's just
There's no reason to get down and say Young Ho.
wow. I can't believe you got that from that.
Adam, we just got a super chat from Adam. Let's answer that straight away. Adam, thank you for your donation, man. Tank
Appreciate
Dell or Zay Flowers? Zaza.
Zaza.
I've been talking about this with my friend group most of the week. I'm just annoyed that Zay Flowers ended up as a Raven. Like, he genuinely would have been so perfect as a Charger. There's not a better fit in the first round than Zay Flowers to the Chargers, and they passed on him. But regardless, that's not going to help you now. Tank Dell or Zay Flowers rest of the year, Badaki?
Rest of the year or just this week?
Okay, let's answer this week then. Let's make it easier on us.
This one's really difficult because
I have a clear answer then. It's Tank Dell for me. It is Tank Dell for me. I cannot be starting a player that is not integral to their offense. Look, I think Zay Flowers, clearly he's going to be better than what he was last week. Clearly he's going to be better. And I still think he's important to their offense, but it feels like they're trying to force OBJ into this to make him happy. And OBJ is that's not the player you force in anymore. It's Tank Dell for me, and more importantly, it's because I think Tank Dell is going to be extremely necessary for the Houston Texans. We just talked about earlier with CJ Stroud, who has garbage time potential. Tank Dell has garbage time potential against the Bengals, so it would be Tank for me there. And I am doing that in my own dynasty league, by the way. So I am actively doing what I'm telling you.
I would say this. Rest of the season, I still would rather have Zay Flowers. This week, I would rather start Tank Dell based off of the matchup that Zach was saying. The garbage time, these high-scoring games, it could happen. The thing is, the same thing could happen for the Baltimore Ravens. The same thing is needed for Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers is not needed when your team is steamrolling somebody.
So that's my problem. They're going to steamroll a lot of teams with how good that defense is. That's the entire problem I'm saying.
And I get what you're saying. I mean, I think they're going to have tougher matchups. You know, Cleveland, Cincinnati is a tough one. They have San Francisco. The Jags can duel.
That's
Miami can duel. You know,
Those
obviously
are
there's some
very
games.
fair points.
There's some games here and there, and it was very fair points the last 2 weeks with Seattle and Detroit. And
That's
they
what I'm
steamrolled
saying.
them. I get it, but like maybe those are just outlier games.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I get you. But once again, I agree. This week is Tank. Rest of the season is Zaza for me.
Because I just know OBJ is in Lamar's ear. Like, bro, come on, like I'm here, and I know that's why OBJ was targeted so much last week. But OBJ is not who he used to be. Stop it. Just stop.
Tank Giants legend, baby, come back. Nah, we don't
Ash
need, we don't need Joe
Pickles
though.
is the next super chat here. Thank you for your donation, Ash. It's your first super chat, so thank you. Trade Ayuk for Connor. I have Hill, Lamb, St. Brown. Trade Ayuk for Connor. I think Ayuk is worth more than James Conner right now.
Agreed. I would say it looks like you are in need of a running back. Ayuk for someone like the following names. I'm not sure if you can get them: Tony Pollard, Joe Mixon, Brees Hall.
You can't get Brees. Maybe
Maybe
Bijan.
Bijan. What about Jameer?
That doesn't feel all that different to James Conner.
What about Monty?
That feels a
I
little
think
more
you can
secure.
You can get Monty.
Or
I'd rather have.
Saquon if, you know.
What about JT? You can get JT still. I mean, he's
I don't
starting to
think
get his
so.
workload.
I don't think you could.
So those are some names you can get right now that we would rather pivot off of, or we would rather have over James Conner, that we believe Ayuk is the same value or equivalent value to, if you're trying to do a 1-for-1.
I would just quickly jump in as well and say a 2-for-2 is probably ideal there. And, because I'm not opposed to the deal, but you need a second pair of players where you upgrade somewhere. So is that tight end? Do you upgrade at tight end in a 2-for-2 here? Do you upgrade at quarterback? So that's another option for you. We got another super chat from RM. Thank you for the donation, man. Very kind of you. He says, flex spot, Taysom Hill, Jahan Dotson, Gabe Davis, JSN. I'm leaning Dotson, especially if Curtis isn't going to play. Yeah, that's where I would lean too.
That was my biggest thing here. I mean, I did my wide receiver video, and I said I'm starting Jahan Dotson with confidence if Curtis Samuel doesn't play.
Agreed.
And so,
man, I just hope that they can recognize how good he is and just stop forcing Curtis.
We don't want season-ending injury. We just want IR.
Yeah, I just want IR. I just want.
We just want an IR. 4 games, Curtis.
Yeah.
Something. I mean, nothing too crazy. We just want Jahan Dotson to shine. Yeah. That sounds terrible.
But let's say Curtis Samuel does play. I think I still go Dotson here.
I think if Curtis Samuel does play, and I said this, I think he becomes more of like a risky spot start, depending on what your depth looks like. And I feel like I would lean more towards Taysom Hill's consistency these last 2 weeks than Jahan Dotson with Curtis Samuel. I mean, the last 4 weeks for Taysom's 12, 16, 22, 22. If Curtis Samuel is playing, I'm going Taysom Hill every single day.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm looking at it, and I'm saying, why am I not starting Taysom Hill over Jahan Dotson?
Okay.
With the consistency, but
because it's Taysom Hill, but
because it's Taysom Hill.
Yeah.
So hopefully that helps, RM. We appreciate you. Thank you so much for the super chat.
We do appreciate that. Very kind. Someone says don't only do super chats. We'll be honest with you guys. If someone's gonna donate their money to us for a question, we're gonna prioritize them. But we are gonna answer questions from top to bottom that are not super chats. It would feel so wrong for someone to donate and just ignore their questions. The next question from top to bottom is Xavier. CJ Stroud or Kyler Murray? This week we're going Stroud. The next one is Amari Cooper, Dell, Thielen, and DJ Moore. Sit one.
Oh my goodness. Revenge game.
Go ahead, sorry.
I was gonna say the revenge game for DJ Moore, whether it's Tyson Baguette or not.
No, it's important to me if that or not is involved, because if it's Tyson, I would sit DJ. If it's Justin Fields, I would probably sit Dell.
I'm just looking at Justin Fields' right thumb logged limited practice on both Monday and Tuesday ahead of the team's Thursday night show.
That doesn't sound like a confident start to me. I would have rather seen a full practice by now if it's Thursday night football.
Tomorrow, full participation, Justin Fields. You're starting DJ?
Yeah, I said if Justin plays, I'll sit Tink. But if he doesn't, I'll sit DJ.
Yeah, I would agree there with you. I'll back you up there.
Would you start Geno Smith or Baker this week? I know it's been bad for Geno, but I would start him against the Commanders.
Agreed.
He says, I have a touchdown prop question for Thursday Night Football. If you guys wouldn't mind giving me your thoughts. Is Foreman anytime touchdown a bad play? Well, let's just firstly say that we cannot give any sort of gambling advice. Here's what I'll say. I think if Herbert plays, which it's trending that direction, I would not bet on anything for the running backs. Like, truly, there's not anything I would bet. Yardage, receptions, carries, touchdowns. Because remember, the last time that both Herbert and Rashawn were healthy, Foreman was inactive because they needed help on special teams. So we have no idea what it will look like. If you lock in an anytime touchdown right now, what if Foreman doesn't even play? So yeah, I would just say, like, overall, I don't really want to do any prop bets on that backfield.
I completely agree. Don't want to do any prop bets, and looks like Khalil Herbert is going to be playing. Has been participating, full participation both Monday and Tuesday. So it looks like he's going to be active, and he looks like he is going to be back leading this backfield here. So hopefully that helps.
Ulysses S. Grant says, should I trade DJ Moore and Zay for Higgins? How
bad is Chase's injury? That's the real question.
For me, it's more like DJ Moore, I have confidence in when Justin Fields is back.
Agreed.
And I think that's going to happen soon, if not this week, next week. So I think trading DJ Moore is the wrong move right now. But if that name was someone else, I'm happy to package Zay to upgrade to Higgins. But I just don't think DJ Moore it's the right time to sell him. It's probably the right time to buy him. So that's where I stand.
Agreed. I would agree there as well. Murray or Dobbs? I think we would both go Murray here.
Yep, agreed.
Colin, should I trade Saquon and Stephon Diggs for Christian McCaffrey and DK Metcalf? For me, this kind of, I would rather have Saquon Barkley and Stephon Diggs because Stephon Diggs, in my opinion, cancels out Christian McCaffrey.
I wouldn't say he cancels out. I think we would all agree McCaffrey is more valuable, but it's not to the point where, like, they're tiers apart. You know, they're both top 5 to 10 assets in the league. CMC is clearly the best asset in fantasy. But I think what's probably more important is that Saquon is a huge upgrade over DK, if you look at it from that perspective of value. So
yeah, I would agree. Chuba or Taysom Hill in the flex. For me, this would be Taysom Hill.
Yeah.
How you feeling about Chuba?
So he still got a ton of work. He got a ton of volume, and the matchup is great again this week. I would not be surprised if Chuba has a fantastic game this week, but I can't label him a must start. I'll go Taysom Hill there, but I don't like it. Lex plants some trees. You'd love to see it. Would y'all do Kmet, Jonnu Smith, Hunter Henry, or Otten this week?
Go Kmet.
Yeah, I agree, actually, because he's been pretty good with Badgett.
Yeah. Carlos, 10-man, full PPR. Okay, what's the question? Would you change anything? Okay, so you just want us to check your lineup. Golf, Kamara, Monty, St. Browns, Mike Evans, CJ Hawkinson, the flex is Cooper, and Josh Jacobs. You bench Mixon, Javonte Williams, Collins, and Laporta.
Dang, you really need to consolidate this, but no, there's no changes I would make.
Am I starting Laporta over Hawkinson though this week? I'm looking into.
See, that's the issue. Like you gotta.
I am starting. Sorry, continue. No. I think I am starting Laporta over Hawkinson this week.
They're literally back to back in my rankings. I have Hawkinson one spot ahead.
It's not that big of a deal, right? Like, I think both of these guys are going to perform. But I'm going based off matchup. The Chargers can score. Yeah, look, it's not that big of a deal.
What I would change, Carlos, is I would be actively looking to trade Hawkinson or Laporta to ideally get a superstar quarterback. And you should be able to get more than just that. But
has Hawkinson had his bye week already?
I don't know, but
no, he hasn't. So that's who I would be trying to trade because I know Laporta had his bye week.
Okay, yeah. So ideally, you upgrade from Goff to a Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, or something like that. Or the alternative option would be trading Hawkinson for a superstar. Let's say package Hawkinson and Amari
One
Cooper.
of the running backs.
Well, I was gonna say go get a Diggs, go get a Chase or something. So, yeah. But anyway,
I can understand that. Let's plant some trees. Pick up Jonnu Smith or On for this week and maybe next 5 to replace Goddard. For me, this would be Jonnu Smith.
Yeah, I agree. Jack says I just got offered Thielen and Aaron Jones for my Rachaad White and Cooper. Should I take that?
Well, I think we answered this in the super chat, and we said Thielen and Aaron Jones.
Yes. I agree.
Chuba or Gus the Bus would be Gus the Bus for me.
This is where I go Chuba, because this feels like a trap for Gus Edwards.
I get you. I can understand it.
I think this is a trap week for Gus Edwards. I'm happy to hold up my hands and say I'm wrong. He's ranked as my RB 25 this week. I think this turns into a 3-headed backfield. That in general is not ideal, but the matchup is not good. It's versus the Cleveland Browns. I think your game plan versus the Browns on the goal line is probably a little bit different than other teams. So I just don't know that all these goal line touchdowns you're relying on are going to be there. So it would be Chuba for me. I think it's a better matchup and less competition. So just my opinion.
Look, I can see the thought process there. So I can't argue with that. Drop Charbonnet for Khalil, 12-team PPR. Need to start this week. Yes, I would be doing that if I need a starter.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's tough. It's a tough one. Mm-hmm. Lucy, 4 and 5 PPR. Pick 1 quarterback, 3 running backs Thursday. Okay, so you have Fields. Okay, hold on. Fields, Goff, and Levis out of those 3.
It's a little confusing to read, but yeah, I guess it's Fields, Goff, Levis. This would be Fields if he plays. If not, actually, to be honest with you, dude, I'm going Goff regardless.
Yeah, it'd be Goff for me, 100%. I would agree. In the 3 running backs, which is Monty, Jacobs, Jones, Ford. This would be Monty, Jacobs, and
Jones for me. I'd set Ford.
Jones. Yeah, I would set Ford as well.
We did just get a couple super chats, so let's make sure we prioritize those. Thank you for the donation. Merv, thank you for the donation, man. Very kind of you. He says, Dynasty Superflex, Hawk for Puka and Myers. I have Laporta. Hawk for Puka and Myers.
You're saying you're doing this trade? I think I would want somebody else, personally.
Really? I'm extremely happy with this trade, personally.
I'm not. The thing is, I'm not anti-Puka. I am thinking
it feels like it lately, though.
I'm thinking about it in a long-term perspective to where, like, I think I would rather have a little bit more security at that quarterback position with the caliber type of player that I'm trading away. I'm trading a top 3 tight end away for Puka, who I'm not disagreeing has breaking records. He's been phenomenal with Matthew Stafford, but next year, if Matthew Stafford is not that quarterback, hypothetically, so a big hypothetical, I would rather be pivoting to somebody I feel a little bit more confident in, and I feel like I could be getting a bigger name. Can I get an Amon-Ra? Can I get, somebody of that caliber rather than Puka is in that caliber with Amon-Ra. I'm saying I would rather have the security in someone named in some of these names like Amon-Ra.
I think the reason you're able to even trade for Puka is because of all the feelings you just described. Here's my issue. Everyone is now assuming that if Matthew Stafford is not the quarterback, that's what we're getting, what happened last week. That's just not the case. Brett Rippon is not a starting quarterback in the NFL. If it's not Matthew Stafford, Sean McVay is still going to be the coach of that team, and it will be someone they draft or it'll be someone they bring in free agency. If Kirk Cousins is there, you're going to absolutely kick yourself for selling Puka Nacua. What I do know is I don't like to sell young, talented players. Yes, Puka Nacua was a 5th-round pick, but if you actually watch Puka Nacua play the position, the NFL missed. That's just the reality. The NFL missed. The toe drag swag, the contested catches, the ability to find zone. He is the perfect fit for Sean McVay's offense, and he is the premier offensive weapon they're going to build around in the next 3 to 4 years. Cooper Kupp is not getting younger. And even if Stafford isn't there, which, by the way, there's currently no reason for us to believe that Matthew Stafford will not be the quarterback next year. There's currently zero reason for me to believe that. But if he's not there, it will not be Brett Rippon. That's the issue with everyone right now losing faith in Puka in Dynasty is look at what just happened. Guys, Brett Rippon wouldn't start for any team as a backup right now. There's not a single team that would use him as a backup. So, to me, you're getting Puka Nacua. You're also getting a young tight end that I like in Michael Mayer, who should eventually get a quarterback upgrade himself. You already have Laporta. I like this. I'll take the Puka Nacua side myself.
Yeah, look, makes sense. I'm just thinking about, can I get somebody that, if you feel the same way Zach feels, then that's fine. And yeah, maybe I'm a little bit more recency bias of the way the things have played out. But I'm looking more to someone a little bit more someone that has a little bit more security, and I think of the Amon-Ra's. In my opinion,
Yeah, I mean, if that's an option, I would obviously
you know,
prefer that as well. But
like
I don't know if you
Amon-Ra.
can do that.
I think of the Chris Olave. I feel like I still would rather have him. I still would rather have Garrett Wilson, even though you kind of put him in the question marks of the quarterback long term. I think of those guys. Jalen Waddle, I would also be thinking of as well. So once again, I'm not anti this trade. I am just looking to see if there's somebody else that I can get this.
Yeah.
I can get. So thank you so much for the super chat.
Now you have to try a different buyer. They might have a tight end they like. So I definitely hear you. But
yeah,
Styles with a super chat. Thank you, Styles. I love that Styles has access to the hotline, and he still loves to come and donate. You don't have to do that, Styles. You can hit us up in the hotline, but I do appreciate the donations. We're not going to say no. It's very kind of you. He says, "What's up, guys? Is McBride a good start with Kyler coming back? Need a win this week, or are we more comfortable starting Njoku or Thomas?" See, my question was going to be, what are your options? And given that your options are Njoku and Thomas, McBride would be my preferred starter of those names. McBride is my tight end 9 on the week, whereas Logan Thomas is my tight end 14. So, yeah, I would go Trey McBride. We know how much Kyler Murray loves his tight ends. We've seen that historically. And the only reason McBride was awful last week is because the entire team was awful. Like, go rewatch that Browns game. That there was nothing happening with Clayton Tune under center.
Yeah, this one's really close. I do have Njoku and McBride back to back in my rankings. I do have Njoku one spot higher. I think Njoku is going to play a big vital part in this offense coming in against Baltimore. Last time they played 6 out of 7 targets in Baltimore in week 4. I do believe it could happen again this week. So I feel a little bit more confident in hopefully the shootout that we can see with the Ravens and the Browns. So give me a David Njoku here. But appreciate the super chat there, Styles. Thank you so much. We do have another one here. Shots.
Everybody.
Monty or Bijan this week. I think we'll both agree it has to be Monty.
Yes. I would not be shocked if Bijan Robinson is a top 5 running back this week, though.
Agreed. Completely agree. Yeah, give us David Montgomery here. Our next super chat here is Bangwin.
It's like Penguin and Bengal all put together.
All in one here. Any moves I should make? 3 and 6, 10 team PPR. Burrow, Kyler Murray. I'm assuming this is super flex, maybe.
No, it's probably one quarterback. He just has 2 rostered.
So Burrow. Let's just. Okay, Burrow, Kyler Murray, Jonathan Taylor, Pollard, Jacobs, Aaron Jones, Chase Godwin, Olave, T, Waddle, Rice, Kincaid, Ingram.
So,
I mean, brother, it looks pretty good here.
Team. This is the issue with playing in a 10-man. Is like everyone's team looks really good. But JT, Pollard, Jacobs, your running backs are great. You also have Aaron Jones somehow. You've got Jamar Chase, Godwin, Olave, T, Waddle, Rice. Maybe the one area I'd like to upgrade is getting another stud wide receiver. I assume you can't start all those running backs. I could be wrong, but can I package, let's say, Ingram and Kyler Murray, Ingram and Aaron Jones, Ingram and Godwin, for example, and go out and get a stud wide receiver like a Adam Thielen, a Mike Evans, an Olave. Well, you have Olave, sorry. One of those names is what I'm thinking. You can shoot for the moon to try and get like a Diggs. I don't know that that's going to happen with those options, but.
Yeah, I would agree there with you. Thank you so much for the super chat there. Bingwin. Sean Ellis, thank you so much for the super chat as well. Dynasty Superflex, Herbert or Daniel Jones? Obviously, is Justin Herbert. Don't overthink that.
No, the deal is a trade here. So it's Herbert or Jones and a top 3 pick and a 2024 second. And I definitely understand the desire to get a top 3 pick in 2024, Badaki. But I don't know where you stand. I kind of view Daniel Jones as a dead asset.
100%.
I could be wrong. Maybe he's a starter next year. Maybe they are like, we paid him so much money, let's just get pieces around him still. Maybe that's what they do. But to me, he's kind of a dead asset, not someone I really want to trade for. And if someone were to offer me Justin Herbert for a top 3 pick in 2024, I would take Justin Herbert. He's got a long-term contract. We've seen multiple years of fantasy success. So he says, I'm 2-7. I have a top 3 pick and have Kyler and Bryce at quarterback. So yeah, I think I would take Justin Herbert, but
I would take Justin Herbert as well. And I agree, Daniel Jones, I do believe is a dead asset. I think we're going to get a quarterback, in my opinion, or trade up for a quarterback. And Daniel Jones is going to be the backup to that guy because I don't think he'll be ready for week 1. He tore his ACL week 9. Think about it, week 9. When did Kyler Murray tear his ACL?
Probably around the same time frame.
Probably around the same time frame. And look, Kyler Murray came back a whole year later, essentially, with having that late ACL tear. So I do believe whichever quarterback.
Like, just quickly to throw in there, if your league determines actually doesn't matter now that if you get Herbert, I don't know, if you have like other picks and if getting Justin Herbert is going to make your picks less valuable, maybe you line this one up for the offseason instead of making your team better now and then other picks that you own become less valuable. You go from the 201 now to the 204 because you have Herbert. I don't know if you do reverse max points 4 in Dynasty or what your format is, but just something to think about. But overall, I'll take Justin Herbert there. I think if Caleb Williams or Drake May became Justin Herbert in fantasy, we would all be completely thrilled. That would be like our ideal scenario. And, that's not a guarantee. Okay, those are all the super chats for now. We appreciate you guys. We're going to go up to the top and answer these questions in order. Super chats available if you want to skip the line. There's no obligation, of course. But the next question in order is from Emily, who, if you think it's a good idea, can I trade for Royce Freeman and Darrell Henderson? I would say overall, like, I dropped Royce Freeman in a league. I don't have really any desire to start Royce Freeman or Darrell Henderson. I don't think there's a scenario in which you want to start these guys. And,
Agreed.
I wouldn't trade anything for them either. So hopefully that helps the question. Keep in mind, Kyren Williams comes back in week 12. I don't think Henderson or Freeman have played into a role. I still think Kyron's going to be the guy for them. He'll come back week 12. So now they're on their bye week. At most, you can play these guys next week. I don't see any value there. Andrew says, what's Cedric Tillman's dynasty value right now? A 3rd round pick?
Yeah. I think maybe it's probably still where he got drafted last year. I don't see too much of an increase. I mean, look, maybe it does increase if they move on from Elijah Moore. I think they can move on from Elijah Moore. He becomes a free agent. Yeah, but it also depends on where they do draft. Do they have a pick in the first this year? No, they don't, right?
No, I don't believe they do. No.
Because they gave up their 23 and 24 or something like that.
But yeah, Cedric could be a sneaky buy for a 3rd.
Yeah, it could be a sneaky buy. I think it just all depends on what happens later on down the road. But I mean, this wide receiver class is pretty deep. So they could get a second rounder wide receiver in next year or in 2024. So yeah, keep that in mind. CJ say, hey guys, I have Kelsey on my streaming options.
On buy.
Okay, I have Kelsey on buy. My streaming options are Alton, Chig, Henry. Who should I start? And if Michael Wilson is healthy this week, is he a solid play? So let's start at the tight end position here. All these tight ends are disgusting. I'll be completely honest with you.
I think CJ probably knows that. I'll just roll with the hot hand of Cade Otton, honestly.
Yeah, I'll roll there as well. I would actually be rolling with Hunter Henry. Excuse me. Okay. Kendrick Bourne missed some time. We saw his second highest target share coming into this year. He does find the end zone this week against Washington. He's playing the Indianapolis Colts, who do struggle as well. At the tight end position, currently get the 8th most. So keep that in mind. In the second part, he was like, if Michael Wilson is healthy, is he a solid play? My other option are DeMarcado, Dotson, Flowers. I think we would both be starting Dotson or Flowers over Michael Wilson.
Yeah.
I think this is a wait and see approach. If you have Michael Wilson, you hope that he gets targeted this week with with Kyler Murray. But yeah, Dotson
Yeah.
and Flowers are both of the guys we would rather start.
I would say in Dynasty, definitely go send out trade offers for Michael Wilson,
Yeah, I
because
traded for
it
Michael Wilson
it
in one of
could
our dynasty
be
leagues.
it could be pretty instant that he's involved with Kyler, but
Agreed.
we'll wait and see. But yeah, it would be Dotson for me. Now Deontay or Hollywood Brown. It would be this week. I have Deontay one spot higher, so it'd be Deontay for me this week.
It would be Deontay for me this week as well. Currently 6-3 in a non PPR, and I just traded Jordan Addison and Hawkinson for Jay Jettas.
Ooh.
And a couple days ago traded Pollard for a Chan.
Yeah.
Straight up. What do you think?
I don't like the first deal. And I think that has a lot to do with what we talked about earlier with Justin Jefferson. You know, if he's truly going to miss 6 weeks, then do they bring him back 1 week before their bye week? There's just a lot of question marks, and ultimately Jefferson isn't going to be as good as he was with Kirk. So it feels like you're trading to get this huge upgrade, but I still think he'll be top 12. I just don't think he'll be the number one in fantasy. And then losing Hawkinson, I feel like that's a deal you do to get a Diggs. You know, it feels like a deal you do to get a Chase. And it's not anything against Jefferson. It's just that the situation is different. And we want to be honest. We want to offer our honest feedback. So hopefully you can appreciate that. And then the other trade, I'm fine to get Achane. But do you have any thoughts on these deals?
Yeah, I mean, I would second that what you said with the first one, Addison and Hawkinson. I'm looking for somebody a little bit more healthier as well that I can plug and play now immediately. Yeah. You're 6-3. I mean, you are above 500, but you're still waiting for Justin Jefferson to come back, and he could miss another 2 to 3 games essentially. So,
I agree.
Excuse me. Second, I also just received Kyren for Gibbs and Justin Fields. I have Stroud and Josh Downs. Also received, so you're getting Kyren for Jahmyr Gibbs and Justin Fields.
I think he received an offer getting Kyren, sending away Jahmyr Gibbs, Justin Fields, and Josh Downs. That feels like an overpay for Kyren. So that would be too much for me to get Kyren. I would say Kyren and Gibbs should be viewed similarly.
Okay. Best sleeper defense. Yeah, I agree. Okay. I agree. Best sleeper defense for playoffs. Top tier defenses are. We'll look into that. Once again, Raider Nation. I think I kind of mentioned that we're going to go into defenses this week.
Yeah, we'll have a specific video on that. I mean, we could bullshit it right now, but we haven't done that research yet for you.
Yeah. Next question here. Blue says trade Hawkinson, Zay Flowers, DJ Moore, and Hunt for Chase. So you traded Hawkinson, Zay Flowers, and DJ Moore and Hunt for Chase?
I'm fine with this if Chase is healthy, and clearly you don't trade away Hawkinson unless you have a really good tight end waiting in the wings. So assuming that's the case.
I think this is a little bit of an...
It does feel like a little bit of an overpay, but, again, I'm thinking probably it's a 10-man league. You can start 7 or something like that. I'm fine, because in those kind of leagues, you're probably not starting Flowers or Hunt anyway. So I'm fine with it if you have a really good tight end already, but if not, if you're now going to stream like Hunter Henry or something, then I think you lost that deal if that's the case.
Yeah. Beast, he said, I got to offer JT and Thielen for Eckler and Lockett. Should I accept? Jonathan Taylor and Adam Thielen for Eckler and Lockett. I don't love Lockett. I don't think like Lockett should be the one that you should pivot. Like, I feel like Eckler and JT could be an even value, but I don't think Thielen and Lockett should be that even value. I think that Lockett player should be somebody else. I mean, I think of Michael Pittman. I think of DJ Moore. I mean, I know these guys may not sound exciting, but like,
I agree.
I would rather
it's too risky.
Like Hollywood Brown or a Chris Olave, a Devonta Smith. I'm looking at those guys over Tyler Lockett, so I don't think you should accept that trade personally.
I agree. Chris, 10-man full PPR. I'm covered for this week, but Jerry Judy's on waivers. Should I drop Rice for Judy? I'd rather have Rice, man. Just being honest.
I agree.
I would say Tajay. Man, Tajay and Zach. Here's the deal with Tajay and Zach Charbonnet. If an injury happens to the guys ahead of them, they are league winners. So adjust accordingly, whatever that means for your league.
Hopefully that helps.
Let's see. What's the
Raider
next question? I
Nation.
think Raider Nation here.
Should I start Murray over Stroud? I think we answered this. We're going Stroud.
Yep. What's up, Henry? We see in the comments, man. Who should I
He did say
start? Taysom
Taysom or
Hill or
Dalton.
Dalton Kincaid? It would be Dalton Kincaid for me.
It would be Dalton Kincaid for me as well.
Good matchup versus the Broncos, and he is pivotal to their offense now, which we love to see. Lewis, start one running back, one flex.
Texans.
Sorry. This would be Jacobs. Oh God.
I'm going Jacobs and Deontay. Deontay is going to get peppered with targets. We've seen that.
Yeah, I'm going Jacobs and Olave. I think Olave has a huge week versus the Vikings.
Actually,
in fact, he's my wide receiver 6 on the year.
It could be the running backs there. Oh my gosh, this is so tough, man.
It's a tough question for sure.
Yeah, it is a tough question. Jack's got a okay, he's talking to the chat. I think he did a super chat on that as well. Okay, what else we got? Raider Nation. I'm in a 12-team league. All top defenses are taken. I want to pick up a sleeper for the rest of the season. Okay.
We talked about that a little bit. I mean, we could bullshit you, but it's right now we're just going week by week that we're streaming the defense, and Badaki's gonna have a video soon talking about the playoffs, but we don't have like a actual good answer for you right now.
Michael, I think it's the next one here. Mayfield or Carr this week.
Carr for me, like the matchup versus the Vikings.
Agreed. And Michael Thomas or Quentin this week.
Man, Johnston is just not doing anything. Again.
Yeah, he's not doing anything. I think the matchup was pretty.
The matchup was tough, but if you're playing 83% of the snaps and you're running the most routes of any wide receiver, and you only earn 3 targets,
I just don't think in that game script he was needed.
He wasn't needed. I definitely
agree. They were up 14. I get it. Like, he does play the snaps, but like if they were in a shootout,
I would say Michael Thomas is the safer option.
Michael Thomas is I would agree. Michael Thomas is safer floor, but I've been seeing a lot of people on Twitter saying Michael or Quentin is like just not it after that performance, which I
don't know that he's not it, but I think it's concerning that he ran the most routes and was only targeted 3 times, but. It doesn't mean that he's bad. It doesn't mean that he's done as a prospect. It just means
I think that's what a lot of people are saying. Like, oh wow, like he's doing all this but not getting target. Like, I don't know. I don't know how much more he can do if they were up by 14, essentially the whole game.
Yeah, I get it.
Yo, is that Leonard Williams on the right? Yeah, that's me, baby. Raider Nate. Okay, we answered. I mean, you keep asking the same question, brother.
Hopefully
Taco,
he heard us answer.
I got offered Pittman and Swift for Tua, Waddle, Ford. I have Burrow as my other QB. I got offered Pittman and Swift for Tua, Waddle, Ford.
I'll take the Swift side.
Yeah, I'm taking the Swift side since you have Joe Burrow. Perfect Dawn. Drop one. Oh my gosh. Drop one. Deontay Johnson, Jordan Addison, Higgins, Kenneth, Gus, Hollywood. The rest of my team is CD, Thielen, David, Brees. I'm dropping Gus if you need to drop one.
Yeah, I agree. But I think there's trade value out there. So I would try and trade him away. Try and do a 2-for-1, but Gus ideally. Should I pick up the Packers for the rest of the season? We just stream weekly, man. It's late. Says, would y'all trade Ferguson and Kyron for Swift and Logan Thomas, sorry. Ferguson and Kyron for Swift and Logan Thomas. I'd rather have Ferguson and Kyron, to be honest.
I think I would rather have. I think Swift is the most valuable here.
I just don't think Swift is that much more valuable than Kyron. If less valuable, maybe. I mean, probably more valuable, but not to the point where I'm downgrading anywhere else.
I can understand that. Would you trade Bijan for Cup?
We will be live until the 45-minute mark. So the next 13 minutes we will be live, and then we're going to call it a stream. So just keep that in mind. We'll be live for the next 13 minutes. But Would you trade Bijan for Cup?
I think it just depends on what you need. If you need a running back, you need a wide receiver.
Yeah,
I think
would
there's a lot
say
of
there's pretty equal
questions.
value, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Jackson
Appreciate
Taylor,
you,
man,
Jack.
appreciate you. Very kind. Thanks for joining us. Bronson says trade Purdy and Tank Dell for Mark Andrews.
Trade
Yeah,
Purdy and
for sure.
Tank Dell.
If this
Yeah.
is a one quarterback league, yeah.
I agree.
Trade
Is he
Waddle
also
and Khalil Herbert for Adams. I would prefer Adams there.
yeah, I would prefer Adams in this scenario.
Guy on the right
For
looks
me-
like Leonard Williams. Caden Curry says, should I trade Saquon and Deontay for Thielen and Ramondre? I want Saquon and Deontay.
Yeah, agreed.
Let's see. The next question. I see a lot of conversation here. Love to see
I think
it.
it's Jackson Taylor.
Jackson, yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
no, wait. No, failures.
Yeah.
No options. Start Tank or Lockett. It will be. Ooh, let me just double check. I think this would be Tank for me.
It
this
is
week.
Tank for me this week. It could be a trap,
Yeah.
but I think he's more. There's a chance that the Seahawks don't need Lockett. That's scary. We did just get a super chat from Zach. Thank you for the donation, man. He says trade Jalen Hurts for Joe Burrow. I'd rather have Jalen Hurts rest of the year, but it's close.
For me, this is pretty even, but I can understand. I mean, high points per game. I think you can see Joe Burrow finding his own here, and I wonder what his averages has been, in the last 2 weeks in points per game. So I think as he continues, it's going to get better, and he's going to be in the top there. But yeah, Jalen Hurts, I would agree there to keep it short.
Patty.
Thank you so much for the super
Or
chat.
sorry, yeah, Patty. Oh no, it was Jackson. Jackson's the next one, my bad.
Yeah, Jackson 12 team PPR. Team is CMC DK. Okay. I want to trade for more, but I don't know if I need or what
So I guess
to
that's
trade for
DJ
him.
Moore.
Yeah.
Ideally, you package like a DK and a Chuba, for example.
Agreed.
But try and get one of those 2-for-1 deals done. A Sutton and a Chuba. So those are the kind of deals I'd be pursuing personally.
Yeah, I would agree there.
Let's see. The next question in order is from
Interesting.
Seal.
Patty.
Says this is more for the chat. Okay. Chris says Dynasty half PPR. Hit hard from injuries and buys this week. Start 2 of Jake Ferguson, Wan'Dale Robinson, Josh Reynolds, and Jalen Warren. If we have to pick 2, this would be Warren and Ferguson for me.
Agreed.
Let's see. CL says got offered 1-for-1 Achane for Kyron. Wasn't sure if I should take it.
I'm happy with Achane.
Yeah, this is close. I do feel like Miami's offense is actually missing Achane.
Agreed.
I feel like they're missing him.
I agree.
It'll be Achane for me. Trade
I agree.
Kamara for Brees or JT or hold. I would hold on Kamara, especially in a full PPR league.
Agreed.
It's very close, though. I mean, any one of those 3 guys could be the better running back rest of the year. But Kamara in a PPR league is he's so safe. Let's see. The next question.
Gosh.
Wow, there's a lot of conversations here. Brees or JT rest of the season? I would go Brees. John says PPR need 2 wide receivers and 1 flex. Deontay Johnson, Garrett Wilson, Calvin Ridley, Ayuk, or Taysom Hill.
Deontay Ayuk are the 2. And is it crazy to go Taysom here?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, I'm going.
Man, that's tough.
I'm going. Ayuk, Wilson, Calvin Ridley, Ayuk, or Taysom Hill. I'm going Ayuk, Wilson, and Deontay.
Okay. Yeah, I'll back you there.
JH says, with a tough matchup versus Dallas, do you got Saquon over Debo and Nico for week 10? I would have Debo probably over Saquon this week.
Yeah, I would agree there.
Sports Recaps asking the chat. You love to see it. Chris says, Gus Edwards and a second for James Cook. Who wins? Dynasty?
I'd still rather have James. But depending on what that second is, if that second's early, then it could be it could be more the second there. But if
I
it's
would
not, then
agree.
I still rather have James Cook.
I would agree. Let's see. Markin says Stroud on waivers. Currently have Carr and Watson.
I'll
I would
drop
pick up-
Carr and
I would
pick up Stroud.
Yeah. T-Law,
Yeah.
Brock Purdy this week. Man, they're going against each other too. I'll go Brock Purdy, man.
Yeah, I'll go Big Brock as well.
BCB, back at it. Sean says 12-team PPR traded Bijan for Ayuk and James Cook. I think that's a pretty even deal.
Yeah, I'm
Garrett
okay with it.
says, is it crazy to flex Taysom over Demario Douglas? No, I think that's
No.
probably what you should do.
Agreed.
Even though it could come back to bite you.
Yeah.
Rebel says, I got offered Cup for Bijan. I don't know what to do. I got Pollard, Mostert, Montgomery, and only Addison Myers Ridley at wide receiver. I would argue that you kind of need Cup.
Yeah, I would agree there as well.
Now,
Sword,
I would be
Fish-
curious if you could
oh,
do that deal after this week, though, because you can't use Cup right now. Depends on your
Probably.
record, I guess.
We gotta wait and see. Swordfish, question 1: Stroud or Golf?
Golf for me.
This will be go Golf and Foreman or Walker. It'll be Walker.
I agree. Yeah.
Sean, 12-man PPR trade. JT and Pickens for Cup. Currently 8-1 and can wait for Stafford to get healthy, but I don't want to rely on Madison.
I think this is selling JT too low, in my opinion. And you're telling me that you're going to have to rely on Madison? Then no.
Yeah, I don't want that as well. Hey guys, should I trade Ayuk for James?
Oh, we answered
Conner?
this
I think
as
we
a
answered
super chat.
the super chat. Ruben, Ridley, Flowers, Kincaid for Devon, Hollywood. Haven't accept week at running back, full PPR. Ridley, Flowers, Kincaid. I think the bigger question is who's your tight end. So you're sending away Dalton Kincaid, but who do you have there to replace him?
Overall, I like the deal if you have a reliable tight end instead
I
of
would-
Kincaid.
I would agree as well.
Let's see. I think the next question is from Sports Recap. Say Herbert isn't active this week. Would you consider starting Foreman over Gibbs? No, I would still start Gibbs.
Agreed.
Um,
Agreed.
Goff,
Joseph,
Howell,
Goff,
or Kyler?
This would be Golf for me.
Yeah, this would be golf for me as well.
Um,
Let's see. Adam says, I'm so
Gosh.
tired of Lamar throwing to Nelson Aguilar and OBJ. Same. Honestly, same. I agree. Joe says Tank Dell's a tank. You love it.
that's
Um,
Hill, Lamb, and St. Brown. Oh wait, come
no,
on.
that's just a comment.
Otton
Okay,
or
Dan.
Njoku.
Dan is the next one here. He says,
Yeah,
Otton or Njoku for starting tight end this week. This would be Njoku for me.
Njoku.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Let's see.
We did get a super chat.
You
Just
take Julio over Zay? I definitely wouldn't. We did just get a super chat. Yes. So let's prioritize that from Cameron.
Yeah.
Thank you for the donation, my man. Drop Flowers or Myers to pick up Madison. I have Bijan and Ford with Achane and Kyron on IR. I don't know that I would drop Flowers or Myers for Madison, but
I guess it depends on who your wide receivers are. This feels like a really small league. And if you are struggling with the running back position,
but he's not. He has Bijan, Ford, Achane, and Kyron. I mean,
well, he has two guys that aren't playing.
yeah, but this week you can start Bijan and Ford, and then Achane's back next week, and then Kyron's back the week after.
Yeah, true.
I don't know. I guess if I had to, it'd be Myers, but it's not ideal.
Yeah, I agree.
Thank you for the donation, man. Guys, we'll only be live for the next 4 minutes, so just keep that in mind. I didn't realize how late it was, but I need to eat some food.
Yeah,
I
we
am
are
hungry.
definitely. I think we might either we push it earlier or we just have it shorter streams, because this is going to be a lot for us.
Yeah.
Now I think the next one is Brandon. He said thoughts on trading Diggs and Kittle for Cup, Andrews, and Nico Collins. Thoughts on trading Stephon Diggs and Kittle for Cup, Andrews, and Nico Collins. I think the tight ends, in my opinion, you get an upgrade: Cooper, Cup, and Nico Collins for Stephon Diggs. I don't trust Kittle for the playoffs, and I wouldn't have Cup and and would have Cup and CD. I don't trust Kittle at all either because I think Deebo Samuel's coming back, CMC is coming back, or is back.
The issue is I trust Diggs way more
exactly
than Cup right now.
That is the problem. That is the biggest problem here.
I'll say
I'm happy to take the chance because if I'm hoping and expecting Matthew Stafford to come back, you hope and expect that uptick again in Cooper Kupp. Nico Collins is a good flex option right now, and Andrews is going to still produce the same thing that he's producing. So I'll take the chance with Cooper Kupp if Matthew Stafford is not going to go on IR, which hopefully he's not, and everything is trending towards that direction.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
It's a tough trade, but like yeah, it's a tough trade.
We did just get another super chat. This is probably the last one we'll answer for today, guys. We appreciate y'all. Cameron says, have Mahomes on bye, stream Stroud or Purdy. This would be Stroud for me.
Yeah.
But Purdy is a fine option as well. But guys, that's going to be it for today. It's almost 1 p.m. where we are, and we haven't eaten lunch, and we also got videos to make. So we got to go get some stuff done. We appreciate y'all. Wanted to stay live as long as we could. And we'll see you guys soon. All love.
Love.